body. Normally I would do my Runcast while running or walking, but it's been raining a lot, and so I did it on a treadmill. Instead of making you guys see like the back of the gym, I'm just gonna set this down here and not have to carry it. I've been kind of struggling a lot in my training. One, I'm incredibly tired today. Like, I'm having this, like, I'm not sure what's wrong with me, but like I'm very, very sleepy. Like, I'm just kind of like yawning and on the verge of falling asleep all the time, which is uncomfortable. But like this morning when I was going with Crew Guy, I'd lose to him all the time. Like, this is kind of a normal thing, but he, like, I could not fight him. Like, I just couldn't like handle his intensity. Like, strength wise, I couldn't get him off of me, which is not the norm. Like, normally I can like struggle and wrestle and whatever and like lose in that way, but not in a like Muay Thai kind of way. But that's like a momentary struggle. The thing that I'm really struggling with in kind of a, I don't know, depression slash reality way, where it's like I don't know whether I'm seeing it this way because I'm depressed, or whether I'm, you know, getting depressed because of this being the way that it is. But I have a new clinch partner. I changed gyms for clinching because it just, you know, my clinch partner left. If you guys have watched my previous runcasts, you know what's going on there. If you haven't, I had a clinch partner and he ended up leaving the gym, and so I kind of was in this no man's land. So I've ended up moving to a different gym for my clinching there to find someone who's near my size. He's smaller than me, which is very unusual for me. I really don't have clinching partners who are smaller than me almost ever. And Karahat's staying with me as he's recovering from his knee surgery, and he's like, it's so good for you to have a smaller clinching partner. Like, he thinks this is really, really good for my development. And I believe him for sure, because he's someone who knows these kinds of things, and he's actually been telling me for a very long time that I need to have smaller clinching partners, smaller sparring partners, like people that I don't have to strain so much against in order to kind of work more on rhythm and timing and the more technical elements of the things that I want to develop, which are underdeveloped in me, and are also underdeveloped because I fight people bigger than me, so I don't actually get to use them in fights either. But I'm just so bummed out because I'm not fun to clinch with. Like, nobody's like, yay, Sylvie's here. Trainers are like, oh good, Sylvie's gonna come clinch with our guy and she's gonna like toughen him up. And I got given credit by 2 different trainers when Bai won her fight because I was clinching with her, which is really generous and nice for them to say. A long, long time ago when I was still at Patriarchy, my clinching partner was this kid named Carabao. And I went and watched his fight, and he won his fight. And as we were driving back, Krunu was like, he won that fight because he clinches with you, which is like a really nice thing to hear. But the thing that's so depressing about this is that, while I know I'm not fun to clinch with, you can feel that, and so it's kind of this like, it's never nice to not be liked kind of thing. And it's not personal. They don't like personally dislike me. They just dislike working with me. And the other day it kind of was, this was not a single incident. This is something that's happened many, many times, like probably 20 times in my years in Thailand. But in its familiarity and its repetition, it like really bothered me. I got in the ring to clinch with this kid, and one of the trainers was in the ring before the kid got in, and he jokingly came over like he was going to clinch with me, and I totally was just like, okay, let's go. And he started laughing. He's like, oh, no. Like, I don't want to clinch with you. Like, I'm afraid to clinch with you. And he was looking at my body, and he was like, do you lift weights? Like, you're so strong. I was like, yeah, I do. Like, this is not like accidental, whatever. But then when the kid got in, he was kind of getting thrown around by me a little bit, because again, he's smaller than me, and he's like probably 16 or something like that. Like, I've been doing Muay Thai as long as he's been alive, basically. I don't struggle with this kid. Like, I get to practice a lot of things with this kid. I can throw him pretty easily. And numerous trainers were coming up and making fun of him and being like, oh, Muay Thai, like, she's a girl. You can't fight a girl. Like, this is so terrible, whatever. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, I'm bigger than him. Like, I'm larger than him, and I'm strong, and I'm really good. And they're like, oh, ha, 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 ha. And I'm like, could you just fucking not? Because, like, he already doesn't want to clinch with me. But then adding into it this kind of, like, shaming, teasing of boys when they, like, have to clinch with a girl and they lose to a girl. Like, you're not going to be, like, yay to a boy who's beating a girl either. Like, that's a lose-lose situation. And it's so frustrating because it's simply and only the patriarchy. Like, it's just based on this assumption that women are weak, that girls are weaker than men, that even a child should be able to beat an adult woman who's been doing this for a really long time and who's really strong, who's bigger than him, like all of these things. It takes as its like base assumption that women are not strong. And I know it's a joke. I know they're teasing. I know that this teasing has been going on for fucking ever and it will continue to go on, but it really frustrates me. Just don't do it. Like, if you find people at your gym doing it, try to shut them down a little bit. Like, it honestly seems innocuous, and it's really not. Like, it really is just kind of perpetuating the patriarchy and this assumption that women are just less than men in, like, every single physical way. It makes me so mad to have people kind of, like, teasing him about this and having it further his not wanting to work with me, and I don't know, it just bums me out. So I'm like not stoked to go clinch with him now, because I know it's not fun for him, and I also don't want to adjust myself in these decisions where it's like, oh, now I'm gonna let him win because I feel bad. Like, that's not good for me either. Like, this kid's gonna get bigger than me soon, because they always do. So me having this short window in which I can have the size advantage and I can work on these things because he's smaller than me, it's a short window. I'm not going to get another clinch partner who's smaller than me. I can't replace him easily the way you would if I were a boy or a man or whatever in a gym. If I were a different size than I am, I'm just at the fucking like lowest level of all of these things. So yeah. I don't know whether my frustration with this, which I have anyway, I've had this for many years, again, it's happened many, many times. I don't know if my particular depression about this is actually caused by this incident, or whether I'm so bothered by this incident because I'm already depressed. So I don't know. But that's kind of what I've been going through for the past week or so. And then today I'm just unbelievably tired. I haven't clinched with him in a couple of days because he was very late from school the other day, and then I brought Carhot to a doctor's appointment, and then today it was raining and I wasn't really feeling it, so I came and ran instead. But the second thing I wanted to talk about, which I thought is interesting, it's one of the cool things. There are many, many cool things about having Carhot stay at my house, but one of the very cool things about having Carhot around is I can just ask him stuff all the time. Like, I'm very interested in things that I can text him questions sometimes, but they seem really unhinged when you like text someone questions who's far away. But when we're driving in the car around, I can ask him all kinds of questions. I asked him what his parents did when he was a kid. His dad was a butcher. I didn't know that. That's very cool. And asking him whether he graduated from school, blah, blah, blah. He played hooky a lot. He's like totally just middle child, like in every single way. It's probably what made him as tricky as he is that it was already a personality trait, and then he just like honed it into like the greatest Muay Thai ever. But there was this thread on Reddit that Kevin was answering, and so I was reading his comments and things like this. I ended up reading the thread, but it was about like, why are all of these gyms in Bangkok, why are all of the training the same in all of these gyms? And some of the answers are incomplete but accurate. Like, if you go to a bunch of commercial gyms, you're going to get the same training at all of them. That's one answer, but that's not the complete answer. But something that I thought was kind of interesting about this is something that I don't think that we appreciate as Westerners, unless you've been here for a super long time and obsess about Muay Thai the way that I do, is that what we see, even me who's been here for a really long time, it's that whole thing where, like, when you observe a molecule, it changes its behavior kind of thing, is that, like, we're not seeing the, like, unmolested Muay Thai of Thai Kai Muay, like, ever. By being there, we're necessarily affecting it, even if you're the first Frong who's ever gone in there, even if it's 1978 and you're the first one who's walked in there. Like, they might ignore you more, and, like, you might not have as much of an impact on it if it's that kind of situation. And I think that before, when you see these Frenchmen who were at the Hopalong gym way back in the 80s and stuff like that, like, they just didn't have any importance, and so the training was just happening, and like you could be there or not kind of thing. It wasn't really adjusting itself to Westerners, and that's just not the way it is anymore. Like, gyms have just become way more accommodating, aware of like Westerners coming to train there, even if they don't have Westerners training there all the time. When I first came here, it wasn't when it first started, but there was definitely a kind of like dual gym that was happening at a lot of places, where it was like there was the Kai Moi, there was the gym with the Thais, and then there was kind of a program that was slightly adjusted, but still there, not fully integrated. It wasn't seamless, but they were in the same space, and it did seem like people were really training with each other and that kind of thing. But it was like Westerners were basically paying their dues to support the gym, and so it was a commercial way to keep a gym going, because traditionally kids don't pay for training. Kids pay for their training by giving their purse or a percentage of their purse to their gym, and if you have a lot of kids, they're not making very much money. So you invest in them. It's like planting a field, and then they have to get older, and maybe some of them will get really good and they'll have stadium fights and they'll have bigger purses, and then the percentage that goes to the gym is actually supporting the younger generation, eating, living at the gym, not really earning their keep very much yet, but they earn their keep by, you know, small stuff like chores, like keeping the gym clean. Younger kids are kind of the grunts of the gym, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. That's not really the kind of gym that we see as Westerners when we come here, and more they're becoming commercial, where the accommodation to we can support ourselves, we can keep the lights on through Westerners coming and paying our bills by paying for their training. This is not a, like, taking advantage of the Westerner thing, it's a business model. I think we see a lot more of that. And something that I think that we don't think about as Westerners is that when you first come here, you assume that everything you're seeing is very Thai. Like, you just assume that the way your trainer is acting towards you is Thai. You assume that the way that they're teaching you is Thai. Like, all of these different things that I will tell you is not. It very much is not. I mentioned this actually in the last Muay Thai library session with Rainbow. He was very like, excuse me, I'm sorry, like apologizing to me anytime he was going to touch me when we were doing the stretching routine, because he was like pushing my legs down, or he was like flattening my back, and he was like sorry, like every time he was going to touch me. My strength and conditioning coach John is like this as well. He'll like use a block to touch me, or he'll say sorry before he like touches the muscle that he wants me to be activating. It is not a like hands-on male to female culture. Male to male, absolutely, they're like grabbing each other all the time. It's insane, and they don't grow out of it. But male to female is very like, you don't do a lot of like incidental touching of each other. So if you have a Thai trainer, young or old, whatever, who's like touching you a whole lot, this is a breaking of the code of how they would treat a Thai woman in a polite setting. But it's also a like, oh, I can get away with this because it's a Westerner, or they have a lot of proximity to having Westerners in the gym, and the way that Western women conduct ourselves in gyms might be much more like, oh, we can, you know, be a lot more equal in the like physical contact, because it's not construed as sexual by us, even though things that I wouldn't think of as being sexual at all are considered sexual. Like, you're sending out all these signals without realizing that you're doing it. And the same thing happens with just being a dude or anyone at a gym. You just assume that you're experiencing the way that like Thai training goes, but what you're actually experiencing is the way that Thai training goes for Westerners. And a very long time ago, when people didn't have the internet, you know, you weren't uploading or creating content, or like there's no Reddit, so you couldn't like tell people what to expect with training. It was all word of mouth. There was much less communication around what to expect when you were training in Thailand, so people didn't come here with expectations kind of thing. Now people come with expectations, and there are so many more people coming into gyms and wanting certain things. They're like, oh, I thought that you trained by giving sparring every day. Like, I want more sparring. I want more this. I wanted this kind of pad work, whatever, because you're a customer, they will accommodate you and they will start giving you that. And they might also start assuming that this is what Westerners like. And so they start doing this. Something that I experienced a lot because I've always been in gyms that have had Westerners before me. I've never been the first Westerner at any of my gyms. They kind of have this, like, this is what Westerners like kind of thing, like this leniency for Westerners and a kind of like misunderstanding of Westerners. They're like, I don't understand why Westerners are like this, but we accommodate them kind of thing. So like, oh, they don't like to run, so they don't have to run. Thai kids don't get away with that. They don't tell Thai kids, oh, they don't like to run, so they don't have to run. Fuck that, you're gonna go running kind of thing. So like this whole this is what Thai gyms are like now kind of thing is true to some extent, but it's that way because of contact with Westerners. So the answer that like all of these gyms are the same in Bangkok because you're going to commercial gyms and they've had contact with what Westerners want and they're trying to accommodate large numbers and blah, 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 all of that is true too. But there's also a truth to it that is kind of like terraforming. Like we've come in like terraformed Muay Thai training, whether we mean to or not. Like I think a lot of Westerners come here looking for authentic experiences. Kevin and I talk about the Kai Muay. People are now starting to ask, like, where can I go experience a Kai Muay? And it's harder to find them now. They're far fewer. And by you being there, you're not actually going to be experiencing it as a true Kai Muay. Like, you're going to be affecting it just by being there kind of thing. But this comes back to me talking to Karhat in the car. I was asking him, because I know that he used to go and clinch at the Muang Sarin gym, which is a hands-heavy gym. And so I asked him, when you would go clinch at the Muang Sarin gym, was their training different from your gym at Sorsupawan? And he was like, oh my God, it was so different. And he's like, I didn't go there just for clinching. I would go to the whole session. I wouldn't like do my training and then go do the clinching. That's what I do. He would like go do the entire session at Muang Sarin because he didn't have clinch partners at his gym. So he was kind of like more integrated in the gym than I ever really knew. Nam Kabuan also used to go to the Muang Sarin gym for when he had fights in Bangkok. They'd come down a little bit early and he would train there. But so I was asking Karhat, I'm like, was training different across gyms in general back in the day? And he was like, it was so different. He was like, at Muang Sarin, they did a lot of boxing sparring and a lot of clinching. And at his gym, at Supawan, it was mainly pad work and sparring. That makes a lot of sense with the style that he developed. But you don't get that as much anymore. You might have gyms now that spend a lot more time clinching or they clinch every day, whereas there are other gyms that don't clinch every day, that don't spar every day. Everyone does pad work now. I don't think pad work was as big a thing back in the golden age as it is now, because shadow boxing was really a huge thing. Lots of gyms don't force shadow boxing anymore. So like in the same way that they say that you used to be able to tell what gym someone came from with their Ram Muay, and now they're all basically the same. Like there's very, very little distinction between Ram Muay anymore. The way people trained at each gym used to be pretty unique to, not unique, but like it was different between gyms, and the strengths of those gyms would come out of how they trained. Hopalong Gym definitely spent a lot of time clinching. And now it's not like that anymore. Like now there is just this kind of wash where like every gym kind of uses the same system. And that's probably to do with, you know, influence of literally being able to see each other. You used to have to go to a gym. When I first came here, you would always have these like old lung, these like old uncles. They would come in and they were gamblers or they were scouts or they were promoters or whatever. And they would come in and they would like watch training, and they'd be there a lot. They'd be there often. Everyone knew them. You just kind of like let them observe you kind of thing. And now people just like with their little, you know, Satan's dream box, they're just watching each other all the time. You can see what training at Superbond's gym looks like. You can see what training at Jit Mong Nan looks like without, you know, getting off your couch kind of thing. And it wasn't like that before. So I don't know if people are like taking ideas from each other or if there's even cross-pollination between, you know, not fighters, but customers and something going between these and asking for things that they had at another gym. And so it influences because they're like, oh, this is what Farang like. Because it takes like 2 Farang, 1 Farang asking for something for people to be like, this is what Farang want or like. So I think it's interesting. I think that I think it's a hard question to answer of what what Thailand's Muay Thai is like now, because it's changing so fast, but it's changing at all these different levels. Like it's not just in the stadia, the like grassroots small gyms that are like in people's houses where they have like one sandbag and like dirt floors and stuff like that. Like that's probably still pretty old school Thai Muay training, not impacted by Westerners training there, but it's still impacted by Westerners having trained around everywhere because they're still looking at their phones to see what training is like, to get ideas from things. And in the golden age, I've talked to a lot of these fighters who are a little bit young for the golden age, so they were at the end of it. So like the Hong Tong brothers, probably the Sijiao twins, like these people would watch Muay Thai on TV, but they wouldn't stay up for it, so they weren't watching it live. They would see like the highlights the next morning, or their dads would come wake them up to watch like a really good fight or something like that. But you had to steal ideas from that moment on TV and then go copy it that way. Now you have like highlight reels that you can like replay and look up and go see on YouTube, and like these 20-second clips and things like this. And even before that, like before the TV version, I remember like Karahat talks about how like he saw Sanchung and he remembers this one fight he saw Sanchung live and probably stole a bunch of things from him in that moment. Siri Monkan, who had like his fourth fight ever at Rajadamnern, because he was like the executioner, he like made it down there, he was just very large. He said that he became good at Muay Thai just by going and watching Muay Thai all the time. And this is another thing that Karahat says, is he was like, I would finish training, eat, shower, put on clothes, and go watch Muay Thai. Like he was just like taking it in all the time. And that's not at home on his TV or on his screen on his phone. That was like going and watching these things live. And so the influence came from kind of a slower process of what impacts you in a moment where you can't like have a replay of it. Whereas now I think people are like stealing ideas of training and stuff like that from reels, which God knows whether people are actually doing those kinds of things on a daily basis in their gyms. But yeah, another thing I want to say that has nothing to do with any of this, but I actually really like, is that Karahat says that he doesn't watch Muay Thai anymore. He's always like, oh, I don't watch Muay Thai anymore. It's like, it's so changed, it's so boring, whatever. He watches so much Muay Thai with us. Like, he knows who's on each card. He knows which fights to watch. He knows what the odds are. And this is a very interesting thing about watching Muay Thai with Thais. The first stage of this was I was showing a fight to Dang in Chiang Mai, fucking like 12, 13 years ago, something like this. And I didn't put the sound on because I never have the sound on my phone. And he's like, I can't where's the sound? I can't watch this with no sound. And I was like, oh, sorry. And I like turned it on for him. Karahat can't watch Muay Thai without having his phone on with the odds. Like he'll have a channel on that's giving the odds. And to me, it's like how Kevin and I, we speak English. We can fucking understand anything that we're watching, but we put the subtitles on because it like lets us hear better. You know what I mean? Is that Karahat putting the subtitles on for Muay Thai is turning the odds on. And this is someone who says that gambling now has too big of an impact on Muay Thai. It's not that gambling's bad altogether. It's not that gambling should be taken away from Muay Thai. It's that there's all kinds of problems going on with it. In the Golden Age, there was gambling. It was huge. There were like bombs going off in Lumpini. It was not a small thing. But he's always got his phone on while we're watching Muay Thai to like tell me and Kevin what the odds are and stuff like that, so that he can understand, so that he has his subtitles on, so that he can know what's going on in the fight, because just having your eyes on it is not how you watch Muay Thai. For everyone who's anti-gambling, this is something to consider. All right, I'm being rained on. Thanks for listening to my swing. I did like a swing there. Talk to you guys later.